Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you might be listening to this. This is your host, Sutton Def from the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel, and you are listening to Quiet Storm Sports. Yes. Welcome back to yet another episode of Quiet Storm Sports with your host here, Sutton Def. Again, this is the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel that you are listening to. Whether you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching on X, or whether you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts, first of all, hello. Again, thank you for coming through. We got some good news to talk about. The Ravens finally got a W. For the first time in a long time, the Ravens pulled it off, right? And vibes are high right now. A lot higher, a complete 180 from where the vibes were yesterday. Yes, the Ravens are only 2-5. I get it. I understand that. However, this is huge. You know, you beat a Bears team who was on a 4-game win streak, right? And you're coming off of a 4-game losing streak, right? And you take care of business at home. You put up 30 points. I'm going to get into all of it here and now on this episode of the show. But before I do, make sure you like the video, leave a thumbs up on this video down below. We'd appreciate that here at PRP greatly, actually. If you are new here and you're a Ravens fan, right, and you're feeling optimistic, right, you're feeling froggy and you're new here to PRP, make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. We'd appreciate that too. Let me see who we got here in the live chat, because as you guys know, I am live right now. We got Tila M, one of our members here. Got to give a shout out to our members. Shout out to Tila M. Thank you so much for coming through. Just had a birthday that passed. Happy belated, by the way. Let me see. King Blaze in the house as well. What's going on, King Blaze? Says, where them Snoop sleepers at? Hey, talk about it. I'm about to get into it. Don't you worry about it. Don't even worry about it. 50 people watching live so far. Appreciate y'all for coming through to this episode of the show. Rolling with Davo podcast. What's up? Says since he lost 2. Yep, I just saw that. The Jets, and at the very end, they pulled out a 1-point victory over the Cincinnati Bengals, which puts the Ravens in 3rd place. The Ravens are now in 3rd place in the AFC North. They are no longer the sole owners of 4th place. Now that goes to the 2-6 Browns. So things are looking up. You got another week of rest for Lamar, which again, I know, guys, listen, the episode I put out 24 hours ago did not sing the same tune of like, oh, Lamar's getting another week of rest. It was panic. It was doom and gloom. I get it. But I'm a fan. Fan is short for fanatic. Sometimes we overreact. But coming out of this game with a W over the Chicago Bears, and I'm going to get into the stats here in a second, guys, it's absolutely huge for this Ravens team. It's huge for this Ravens team going forward. It gives you a spark, right? It gives you the energy, the juice, the confidence that you needed. And by the way, down the stretch of this game, it was looking a little spooky at a point, right? Like early 4th quarter, you know, the Bears were only down by 3, I believe. Guys were getting hurt. Ronnie Stanley got banged up. Marlon Humphrey got banged up. But guess what? Both of those guys returned to the game. So I want to start there. The Ravens, not only did they win this game, right, but they got out of the game relatively unscathed with injuries, right? Of course, they're going to monitor what's going on with Ronnie and Marlon, I'd assume, who came into this game, obviously not 100%. They've been dealing with things for the past couple of weeks themselves. But the fact that nobody was ruled out of this game and the Ravens got a W and the defense actually looked good and the offense actually looked competent, it's a total W. It's an all-around W. The Ravens won in every phase today. Offense, defense, special teams. They got the Bears up out of there. Now, I will say this. The Bears did have us in the first quarter. The Bears were pretty much getting whatever they wanted in the first quarter. The time of possession was so lopsided. I'm going to bring up the final time of possession numbers in a second here. Again, I'm about to get to the stats. But the Bears possessed the ball 12 minutes. 12 minutes. compared to 2 minutes for the Ravens in the first quarter. Based off of what I saw in the first quarter, I was thinking to myself, okay, here we go again, right? It's happening, right? The Ravens are not going to be able to get off the field, and they're not going to be able to score. Because that first Bears drive went for at least, 7-8 minutes, I want to say, just for the Ravens to get the ball back, not do anything with it. Again, this is the Ravens' first drive on offense. They went 3 and out, gave the ball right back to the Bears. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, this is going to be another one of those watches, right? This is going to be another one of those Ravens games where I'm numb by late second quarter, where I just know that this Ravens team has nothing left in them, no fight. But I saw a fight today. Again, from the offense, from the defense. I want to give a shout out really quick to the offensive line. With Patrick Ricard back in the lineup, the zone runs with Derrick Henry are so much more satisfying to watch. So much more satisfying to watch. Patrick Ricard play the Patrick Ricard role as opposed to Zaire Mitchell-Payton, who the Ravens had trotted out there up until this point of the season. They just released him the other day. Thank God. Right, but Patrick Ricard being back was huge in this game. We got a super chat donation. First one of the episode. Somebody's making it rain. Who's making it rain? Who's making it rain? Who is that? It's Kwame. Kwame in the house. What's going on, Kwame? Appreciate you for coming through. Appreciate you for making it rain here, being the first to make it rain here on this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. Kwame says, Huntley certified dog, like I said. Talk about an overreaction by you, Sutton. LOL. Hey, man. What did I just say, Kwame? Fan is short for what? Fanatic. I was just as emotional. Hey, look, I'm no better than you guys, right? I know I get up here on this platform, damn near every day. And, I cover this team. And there's a level of professionalism that I'm sure you would expect from me. There's a level of even keeledness. And I'm a pretty even keeled guy, just on the surface, right? But no, I'm still a fan. I feel very deeply, very strongly about these Baltimore Ravens, just like you watching or listening right now do as well. I feel so very strongly about these Ravens. So yes, I'm very, very reactive. And at times I can be overreactive, right? So it just is what it is. It is what it is. But Huntley played really well. With that being said, again, I appreciate your super chat donation, Kwame. Making it rain here on this episode of the show, Quiet Storm Sports, Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. Let's get into the numbers. Let's get into the numbers, shall we? Ravens win 30-16 over the Bears. Here are the offensive numbers for your Baltimore Ravens. Let me see if I can actually find. Oh, here we go. All right. So, yeah, Baltimore Ravens. Let's start with Tyler Huntley, right? Tyler Huntley had himself a day, right? Not a lot of people thought that Tyler Huntley was going to be as efficient as he was today. And he was very damn efficient. I loved it. Loved what I saw from Tyler Huntley. He ran when he needed to. He was making some good layered throws, right? In between the linebackers in the secondary. Beautiful stuff, right? Made some good decisions. Almost had one pick. He did have one bad throw that should have resulted in a pick, but the Bears corner dropped it, if I remember correctly. But again, 17 for 22. 186 yards passing, 1 passing touchdown, no interceptions. He was sacked twice, and he had 8 carries for 53 yards. No fumbles, no turnovers at all, and 116.9 passer rating. And the Ravens front office and coaching staff had the absolute nerve, the unmitigated gall to try to convince Ravens fans, really stared us dead in the face with a straight face and said Cooper Rush is going to be our backup quarterback this year. That's our best bet. And we're going to pay him some good money to be our backup too. What went behind that decision? Because I have no idea. I have no idea. You can go back to the episode where me and Alex, we reacted to the Ravens signing Cooper Rush. And I was super indifferent about it. Because I'm never really expecting Lamar Jackson to get hurt. But the thing that had me scratching my head was there's no continuity going from a Lamar Jackson-led offense to a Cooper Rush-led offense. And what did we see today? The Ravens went from averaging 6.5 points per game with Cooper Rush as a starting quarterback, to scoring 30 points with Tyler Huntley starting at quarterback. Just another miss by the coaching staff. Just another miscue by the coaching staff. Hell, by the front office. I got to put some blame on Eric DeCosta for this. He paid him the money. You know? Team Ramey says, I'm sure there's a connection with Harbs and Cooper Rush's family. Man, if that were true, which I don't think it is, but if that were true, and that was the reason that they bought him in and paid him that big bag of money, knowing that he doesn't really do anything for this Ravens offense in terms of being able to pick up where where Lamar Jackson would have left off, it makes no sense. But let's continue here. Let's continue. So Tyler Huntley had himself a really good day. Very proud of him. Love what I saw from him. He's literally Lamar Jackson light, guys. That's literally what he is. There were a couple of plays today from Tyler Huntley, before I continue here, where I felt like when I was watching, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, if that was Lamar, that would have been a much bigger play. I think if because the Ravens were kicking a lot of field goals in this game. They kicked a lot of field goals early on in this game. They had the 2 touchdowns in the second half, but before that, it was a field goal party. Tyler Luke went out there and he had himself a day as well, and we'll get to him. You know, but I feel like if Lamar Jackson was playing in this game, the Ravens would have had 30 in the first half. They would not have settled for so many field goals. I can guarantee you that. But let's continue with the stats here. Rushing, Derrick Henry had, 21 carries for 71 yards. Averaged 3.4 a carry. His longest run was a rush for 10 yards. He had 1 target as well. No catches, though. He did have 2 touchdowns in this game, too. He had 2 touchdowns. Of course, the last one was a second effort, a really good second effort touchdown play from Derrick Henry, where he kind of gets stuffed up the middle, then bounces it out to the outside and ends up getting into the end zone for the game-sealing touchdown. But yeah, 21 carries for 71 yards for Derrick Henry. He looked pretty good in this one, especially running behind Patrick Ricard. Again, having him back is just, I cannot wait, honestly, to go back and watch the all-22 film of this game, because you're going to see. And even if you don't have the all-22 film, go back and just watch the highlights and just watch number 42. And just watch the impact he makes with these blocks on these runs for Derrick Henry. I'm telling you right now, he's only getting started. He's just getting ramped up. The Ravens, you will see a whole lot more sustained drives for this Ravens offense now that Patrick Ricard is back in the mix. I will say that. 118 people watching live right now. Thank you guys so much for coming out to this episode of Quiet Storm Sports. I am your host, Sutton Def. If you're listening on X right now, please drop me a follow on X, and then also head over to YouTube and subscribe to the Purple Rain Podcast YouTube channel. We're live damn near daily. Ravens content coming out here on this channel damn near daily. So make sure you go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're on YouTube, and hit that like button as well. The like button is so important for us, guys. So if you can, it's free. Just hit the like button. We appreciate that. All right. So let's continue. Like I said, Tyler Huntley had 8 carries for 53 yards. Keaton Mitchell had 4 carries for 43 yards in this game, averaging 10.8 yards per carry. His longest run was 25 yards. I tweeted this. I don't know if I tweeted it or I don't know if I just put it directly in my notes for this game, but when Keaton Mitchell came in and on his first run, he went for, I think it was 25 yards, that first run. I said to myself, like, oh, Keaton Mitchell is good. Oh, Keaton Mitchell is an amazing, a fabulous change of pace back who's going to literally just run around a tired defense. Who knew? Yet another miss by this Ravens coaching staff. So we're at 2 misses so far. Like, 2 things came to fruition in this game that kind of puts egg on the face of a John Harbaugh and the rest of that coaching staff, at least offensively. Number 1, Cooper Rush should have never been the starter. And I already covered that. But number 2, Keaton Mitchell deserves playing time. He deserves snaps, right? But all we've heard from John Harbaugh all season is like, hey, like, look, guys, how am I supposed to get this guy on the field? Like, what do you want me to do? I'm going to give him I mean, at the most, Keaton Mitchell can get, what, 4 carries per game? What is he going to do with that? Well, yeah, he had 4 carries in this game, had 43 yards with those 4 carries and 10 yards per carry. And literally every time he got to the outside corner, he beat his man around the edge. Like damn near every single time. You know, there was that one run at the end of the game where, you know, he probably should have stayed in bounds, right? But hey, look, he's beating guys around the edge. Give him the ball. Right? Give him the football. I'll say that going forward. Give Keaton Mitchell the football. I see somebody in the chat says, man, I've been saying a good coach would find a way to get him on the field. Exactly. After today, there's no excuse to not give him more playing time going forward. He even had a good kick return, I believe, in this game. So, yeah, big ups to Keaton Mitchell in this one. Zay Flowers had one carry for 8 yards. Justice Hill had 1 carry for 2 yards. Not Justice Hill's year this year, clearly, right? Let's go to the receivers. Zay Flowers had 7 catches for 63 yards, so that 66.5 receiving yard total on the sports books was so perfect. It was so perfect. And I told Alex this, you know, when we were talking about this game, and we were under the impression that Lamar Jackson was going to play when we made our 3-leg parlay, and we did pick the over on Zay Flowers over 66.5 rushing yards. He finished with 63. I thought he had a good day. Early, you know, in that first half, there was the plays where it seemed like Zay Flowers was kind of reverting back to his old ways, right? Of just going east and west too much, right? Dancing around a little bit too much and not getting north. That drives me insane as a football fan. It drives me crazy. Like, you guys remember the play in the first quarter or the second quarter, one of the two, where he catches the ball. It's like 3rd and 7, right? After Rashad Bateman gets a nice like 22-yard gain or something like that, or 15-yard gain, something like that. And Zay Flowers catches the ball on 3rd and 7. He's right there at the line of gain when he catches it. But he like jumps back. He jumps backwards instead of just like barreling himself forwards to make sure that he got the first down. He ended up getting it still. But that irritated the fuck out of me. I'm not even going to lie to you guys. Yeah, I didn't like that. But Zay Flowers, he was the leading receiver today. Again, 7 catches for 63 yards. Following him was Rashad Bateman, who had 2 catches for 51 yards. A quiet year for Rashad Bateman. He did have 2 good catches today. But you know, it'll be interesting to see what this offense looks like going forward. I assume, right? And I hate to assume at this point when it comes to Lamar Jackson. And you know what they say about assuming, it just makes an ass out of you and me, right? But I would assume Lamar Jackson is going to play starting this Thursday against the Miami Dolphins. And maybe we'll start to see some sort of resurgence from Rashad. And then we'll see him turn things around in the season, because it's been a night and day between what we saw last year from Bateman to what we see this year. But let's continue here. Mark Andrews on National Tight Ends Day only had 3 catches for 34 yards in this one. A quiet day for Mark Andrews. D-Hop had 1 catch for 14 yards. He had pretty much like the game sealing catch at the end there. And I know Bears fans are going to be mad and say, oh, there's controversy behind that because, you know, DeAndre Hopkins, he pushed off. He pushed off of the DB. And it's like, to me, there was hand fighting both ways on that play. So I totally understood the no call. That's nothing to really hang your hat on if you're a Bears fan watching this. But yeah, D-Hop had a really good clutch play. Seems like Tyler Huntley really trusts D-Hop, especially in these like high leverage, like these clutch moments where you need one. Charlie Kolar had 1 catch for a touchdown, 1 catch, 10 yards and a touchdown. You know, love what I saw from that. That was a beautiful play design from Todd Monken. I love to see, you know, Pat Ricard and Derrick Henry kind of get the defense rather flowing one way, and then Charlie Kolar leaking to the weak side of the field. And, you know, you have Tyler Huntley on the play action right there to just dump it off to him. It was just an easy walking touchdown, right? Easy walking touchdown. Isaiah Likely, 2 catches for 8 yards. Tylan Wallace had 1 catch in the first half for 6 yards. Again, Tyler Luke made all his field goals today. Made all his field goals today. Some of his field goals looked a little bit inaccurate. You know, like if you go back and look at some of those field goals, some of them just kind of snuck in, right? And like you would want to see him clean up the aim just a little bit, right? We want to see those like straight, like right down the uprights, you know, not like just barely getting in, you know. And that's not the first time we've seen that from Tyler Loop either. So just letting you know. But Tyler Loop, again, he didn't miss, so good game from him too. Let me see, going over to the defensive side of the football, Roquan Smith led the team in tackles, had 7 tackles in this one. Nate Wiggins actually had the second most tackles of the day, which is surprising to me that Nate Wiggins ended the game with the second most tackles. He had 6. Behind him was Malachi Starks with 5. Behind that was Kyle Hamilton and Teddy Buchanan and Marlon Humphrey with 4 apiece. Aloha Gilman had 2 tackles. David Ojabo had 1. Kyle Van Noy, Awuzie, Mike Green, and Jake Hummel also all had 1 tackle in this game. So overall, I will say this, the defense came to play. The defense came to play. Holding this Chicago Bears team to 6 points for the majority of this game was impressive. You know, and now that makes 2 straight games, you know, the Rams game and now this game as well, where the defense has stepped up and the defense has seemingly made a turnaround. And this is 2 straight games where the Ravens defense has forced a turnover as well. So the defense is looking like it's on the up and up. You know, Kyle Hamilton, I said this myself all last week, that Kyle Hamilton was going to be the bane of Caleb Williams' existence in this game. And that's exactly what he was. The Ravens were doing a fabulous job scheming up pressure, getting Kyle Hamilton in the face of Caleb Williams and speeding up his clock, knocking him off his spot. I loved what I saw from the pass rush. Mike Green had a big drive-ending sack on the Bears' first drive. Great pass rush move and everything. It was like, you gotta have it. If the Bears score a touchdown there, it makes it a whole lot harder for this Ravens team to win that game. I'll tell you that. So again, the defense, they balled out today. Was it the absolute best performance? No. Did they put together a full 4 quarters of dominant defense? No. But they put together 3. You know, there was that kind of garbage time, big play from Caleb Williams to DJ Moore, the one-handed catch. You guys remember that one? But game was kind of already over. They ended up not scoring on that drive either. Ended up turning the football over. So again, defense balled out. You got Miami coming up next. I think that they should be able to handle Miami as well. I got to check the score to that Miami game. How did that one end? Oh, Miami actually, they balled out. Miami beat the Falcons 34-10. So Miami's going to be heading home on a 1-game win streak going into Thursday Night Football. Both teams will have won their last game, the Ravens and the Dolphins. So that should be an interesting one, a bit of a homecoming for Lamar Jackson and a couple other players as well, going back to Florida where you know they're from. So it's that's gonna be a fun game. In the chat, Easy G says great interception from Nate Wiggins. Yeah, Nate Wiggins was kind of getting cooked early in this game. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. He was getting cooked a little bit, but that interception, man, just beautiful stuff. Damn near ran the route for the receiver, right? Undercuts him beautifully. And Caleb Williams, I knew Caleb Williams, like, if you put him in a predicament where he's got to go out and win the game with his arm, he's still too green, right? He's still a little bit too wet behind the ears, Caleb Williams is, to kind of pull that off. And Caleb Williams still has yet to have a signature performance at quarterback for the Chicago Bears team. Just saying, guys. So we'll see. Let me see what else here. Let me go to the Bears side of the football really quick and just run through those stats really quick for you guys. So the Bears in this one, Caleb Williams, speaking of him, he went 25 for 38 passing, 285 yards through the air, no passing touchdowns, had 1 interception, and was sacked 1 time, of course, from Mike Green. Again, that was Mike Green's first sack of his career. Beautiful to see. DeAndre Swift was held in check in this one. The run defense actually looked good. Outside of the first quarter, Run defense looked good. DeAndre Swift had 11 carries for 45 yards in this one. Did have a touchdown. Manangai, 7 carries for 24 yards in this one. Caleb Williams carried the ball himself, 3 carries for 24 yards. And then DJ Moore, I didn't know that the Bears really did this, but they were handing the ball to DJ Moore a couple of times. And I'm thinking to myself, like, is he that guy that you really want to be doing that with? I mean, he had 2 carries for 3 yards, nothing special there. Roma Dunze, he got his. Right, Roma Dunze got his in this one. 7 catches for 114 yards. Again, early in that game is where he got the most, the bulk, the majority of his work, working on Nate Wiggins. DJ Moore had 4 catches for 73 yards. Colston Loveland, 3 catches for 38 yards. Olamide Zaccheaus, 7 catches for 33 yards. DeAndre Swift had 2 for 26. Devin Duvernay, former Raven, 1 catch for 2 yards. And then I think there's Luther Burden, I want to say. Yeah, Luther Burden, 1 catch for -1 yard. So, and Devin Duvernay had a pretty decent day at kick return. I won't lie. He did almost break one. I will say that. But overall, guys, again, I loved what I saw from this Ravens team today. And, a win like this really does put you in position, in prime position, to put yourself right back in the running for the AFC North. To be honest with you, because if we look at the landscape of the AFC North right now, and I have it pulled up, the Steelers, of course, are 4-2. I believe they play Sunday Night Football against the Packers, which, listen, my eyes are going to be glued to the TV watching that one. We need Pittsburgh to lose if you're a Ravens fan. Steelers are 4-2 right now. Bengals are 3-5 after today's loss. The Baltimore Ravens are 2-5, sitting in 3rd place, and the Cleveland Browns are 2-6, sitting in 4th place in the AFC North. So there's still a chance, guys. If you can beat the Bengals, and you can basically, if you can sweep the Bengals and if you can sweep the Steelers, because you got to sweep both of them at this point, right? But it's totally possible. Again, with the defense looking like it's on the up and up, they're stopping the run. Right? You got Carl Lawson, who will probably be elevated this week. He'll probably help on the edge. You've got an offense who is obviously now, I think, I don't want to say necessarily more energized, but again, with Patrick Ricard, that is the unsung hero in this game, of this game. Patrick Ricard being back, and I know he didn't play a whole bunch. They kind of had him on a little bit of a snap count. It seemed like he didn't play a whole lot early on in this game, but when the Ravens needed sustained drives the most, they had Patrick Ricard out there, and he was making that key block. You could see in real time Derrick Henry's expected yards per carry going up. His rushing efficiency just naturally raising itself. Like with Patrick Ricard running right behind him. You can tell how much Derrick Henry loves running behind Patrick Ricard and how effective it is. I love it. I love it. Andre says, facts, now we need to bench Falele. Listen, guys, sorry about that. Listen, guys, I have not watched the All 22 yet, as it is not out yet. But I'll go back and watch, and I'll have to look at the offensive line, the trench work. There were a couple of spots where I saw some things. Andrew Voorhees got blown up a couple of times. That wasn't really good to see, but again, I got to go back and watch the All 22 and give you guys a better assessment on the O-line. TY says the quick passing game and play action saved the offensive line a bit. The sack was real bad. Yeah, for sure. And again, you can set up that play action game when Derrick Henry is running the ball effectively and efficiently. And that's what the Ravens were doing. That's what they were able to do in this one. Taquan says, I'll tell you guys, this Voorhees is way worse than Falele. I mean, honestly, they both suck. They both suck. If we're just being real. Let's talk about some team stats. Let's get into some team stats in this one, because those tend to be more interesting to me than the individual stats. This is probably the most interesting stat in this one. So you talk about time of possession, right? And you talk about how after the first quarter was over, the Bears were beating the Ravens in time of possession 12 minutes to 2 minutes. which was, kind of like a signal early on that the Ravens were probably going to get, maybe not blown out, but they're just going to get leaned on the entire game. They're going to see a very limited number of possessions. If they don't make the most out of every single possession, they're just going to lose, and they're probably going to lose by multiple scores. But the way that the game ended up, the Ravens ended up winning the time of possession battle. After starting down 12-2 in minutes after the first quarter, the Ravens ended up possessing the ball for 30 minutes and 30 seconds to the Bears 29 minutes and 30 seconds. So again, like I said, it really felt like maybe it was just the fact that the Ravens, I don't know, I guess you could say like not so much get their feet wet, but kind of settle into the game. And you could kind of tell early on, the first 15, you guys know what the first 15 is. The first 15 plays for an offense are normally scripted, right? It's something that you practice all week long. And you can tell what the Bears and what Ben Johnson wanted to do is get the ball out quick, right? Don't give this Ravens pass rush an opportunity to really get off. Don't give Kyle Hamilton a chance to wreck this game. And it was working early on. And the Bears were able to stay on the field, get some more sustained drives, things like that. But after kind of like that script went out the window and the Ravens were shutting down the run, Bears couldn't really do too much. They couldn't do too much. They couldn't capitalize on their 2 red zone trips in the first quarter. That really, really killed them. That killed them, right? Because it gave this Ravens team, and you guys can probably hear my dog in the background. Sorry about that. But it gave this Ravens team confidence, right? It gave them confidence. And the Ravens ran with it, quite literally. Quite literally. All right, so let me see here. Third down efficiency. This was a big one. Bears started off the game pretty good, but ended up finishing 6 for 13 on third down. The Ravens went 4 for 10 on third down. Got to clean that up a little bit. I do think that having a Lamar Jackson back, again, guys, I think that basically what you saw in this game here is Tyler Huntley raise the floor for this Ravens team exponentially, right? He raised the floor for this Ravens team. With Lamar Jackson, do I think that the Ravens probably go ahead and put up 40 plus in this game? I do. But without Lamar Jackson and without Tyler Huntley, do I think that this Ravens team could have mustered up 13 points? I don't. So again, this was clear as day. And now I don't know what you do with Cooper Rush. I don't know what you do with Cooper Rush. With all the money he's making, relative, right? I don't know what you do with him. It was a terrible signing in hindsight, right? Hindsight is always 20/20, but that's not the guy. I tweeted this weeks ago. I said, hey, look, if Lamar Jackson cannot go, I would much rather see Tyler Huntley over Cooper Rush. Cooper Rush does nothing to elevate this offense. Nothing. Right? Tyler Huntley can throw it just as well as Cooper Rush, and he can run it way better. Way better. Man. So, but God's favorite says here, got some momentum going into Thursday night's game with Lamar under center. Yeah, man. You get an extra couple of days of Lamar Jackson resting. You actually got a W, Again, you got out of the rest of this game relatively unscathed injury-wise, right? Marlon Humphrey did get banged up. Ronnie Stanley did get banged up. They both returned to the game before it ended, which tells you it's probably nothing serious. And they'll probably be good to go for Thursday when Lamar Jackson gets back. So when Thursday rolls around, this Ravens team should be at full strength. Pretty much. Only major player, of course, you're missing, which will always be missing, and I'll always bring it up, is Nnamdi Madubuike. Right? However, I will say this. If the Ravens go out and they beat up on the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football, I think that checks off 2 boxes in the salvage the season list, right? The first box was beating the Bears by any means necessary. I didn't care if this game ended 13-10, but the Ravens managed to put up 30. That was the first box that was checked. Beating the Bears. Box number 2, of course, beat the Dolphins. Should be easier with Lamar Jackson playing in his home state. You know he's going to want to turn up Thursday Night Football prime time in front of the entire world. Oh, let me show how much this Ravens team missed having me at quarterback. I got the Ravens winning that game. That would be the second box checked to salvaging the season. The third box that would need to be checked is, okay, we're 2-5 now. If we check that second box and beat the Dolphins, we're 3-5 if you're the Ravens. And if you're Eric DeCosta, you'll have what? Maybe a week? Maybe a little bit less? A little bit less than a week to make a move before the trade deadline. That would be the third checked box. Get yourself an interior D lineman, right? I don't know if it looks like a Quinnen Williams. Apparently, word on the street, he's a little bit disgruntled. You know, of course, the Jets played with a lot of heart today. Lost one of their legends, Nick Mangold. Rest in peace to him, to cancer, I believe. Rest in peace to him. Prayers up to his family. The Jets played with a lot of heart today. They got their first W of the season. So I don't know what vibes look like in that locker room. I don't know what vibes look like in that upper management room, in that front office. But if I'm Eric DeCosta, I'm making a call back out to the Jets and say, hey, look, are you sure you want to keep Quinnen Williams? I'm making a call to the Titans and checking on Jeffrey Simmons again, even though he's dealing with a hamstring injury himself right now. He didn't play today. I'm calling, I'm checking, I'm making sure. Hey, look, are you sure Jeffrey Simmons, are you sure, New York, that you guys want to keep Quinnen Williams? We got a second round pick for you right here. You can go ahead and take that second round pick. We ain't gonna put it to no good, right? Alaskan Man says interior on both sides. I would like to see it. I would like to see it. Again, I got to go back and watch the all 22 so I can get a real assessment on what I feel about this offensive line. The offensive line, I think they played better today in terms of like the run blocking and things like that. Of course, again, a lot of that had to do with Patrick Ricard just being that big body. Again, the fridge. They call him the refrigerator for a reason, guys. God, I love watching Patrick Ricard play football, man. I love it. I love it. But yes, again, if the Ravens can complete that list and check off all those boxes, they've already checked off one. Next step, you got to beat the Dolphins. After that, you got to take a big swing before the trade deadline. Shore up this interior on the offensive line or the defensive line. At this point, I don't care which one. Just make something happen, right? Add more juice to this team. Right now, this team has confidence, right? Even at 2-5, coming off of a win, this Ravens team has confidence. Capitalize on that, right? If you go in and you beat the Dolphins, if you take care of business against the Dolphins, who are not a good football team. I know they blew out the Falcons today. I don't care. They're not a good football team. If you beat the Dolphins and take care of business with them, you get yourself a mini bye and 10 days of rest before you play the Minnesota Vikings in week 10 of the season. So, yeah, and Tom just says it here. We got 10 days after the Dolphins. Make moves, EDC. Exactly. That's where we're at right now. The season is not over. There's still a good chance to win the division, right? There's still a good chance for the Ravens to make the playoffs. And with Lamar Jackson coming back, and not only, of course, him maintaining the floor of what we saw for the offense today with Tyler Huntley starting, but he's going to raise the ceiling through the roof, pretty much, when it comes to this offense. You know that's what Lamar Jackson does. I fully expect him to do that when he gets back. Again, I know just 24 hours ago, I was on stream, this very here stream, in this very studio, on this very YouTube channel, telling you guys, hey, look, it's over. The Ravens are going to come out flat today. And they did early on. I was right about that. They came out flat. But they stepped up. The defense, most importantly, stepped up. And I was really proud of them. Kwame says LBHT was dissing Huntley too. I didn't see that episode of Lunch Break Hot Take with my guys Jose and Bronny dissing Huntley. I didn't see that, but I'll have to give my guy Jose the business on Tuesday when I see him, when I talk to him on Coach's channel. Make sure you tune in to Sipsy Tally Films on Business. I gotta ask him about that. I'm gonna ask him about that, Kwame. Like, hey, were y'all slandering Tyler Huntley? Cause yeah, nah, we not doing that. Alaskan Man says Huntley is good for one game and that's about it. Hey, look, that's all we needed from him. That's all we needed from him, Alaskan Man. One game, one win. He got it. He got it. Tyler Huntley, I know he has a losing record as a starter in his NFL career, but today he got the job done. They said he's no different than Cooper Rush. Oh, no. Yeah, I'm going to have to check on that. I'm going to have to check on that. I'm going to have to check on my guy Jose and Brodney on that one. I am. But yeah, guys, great win. Let me see what the Twitter streets are talking about before I get out of here on this episode of the show. I'm sure there's big interviews going on and whatnot. We back up. A W. Big W's. Ravens 2-5. Terrible record still. Piss poor even. But things are looking up. I think we ain't done yet. Let me say that. Apparently Roquan gave Harbaugh a hug post-game. It's interesting. Roquan also said each and every guy was on the same page, and that's what you love to hear about a defense, right? That's what you love to hear, right? Because if they start playing faster, right? If they start playing more proactive like you saw today and less reactive like we saw for the majority of the season up to this point, this defense can make the same sort of turnaround, the same sort of 180 that they made last year. And it's so crazy to think that just something as simple as just moving Kyle Hamilton inside the box and closer to the line of scrimmage would make all the difference. Because these last two games, I mean, you've held opponents to a grand total of 30 points? Right? The defense is playing well, man. The defense is playing very, very well these last 2 weeks. Let me see. Snoop Huntley says Lamar is just a great mentor to have. That's my brother. Lamar looked in good spirits on the sideline too, guys. He looked like he was in good spirits. I loved seeing that from Lamar. Harbaugh was lipping off to the players. What are you talking about? I'm asking, man. What are you talking about? Let me see what else here. What else? Apparently, Tyler Huntley texted John Harbaugh and asked if he can come back to the Ravens. And Harbaugh called him back, and it's just like, I don't know why Harbaugh would not originally just go ahead and get Tyler Huntley back. Coach Harbaugh on Lamar Jackson's status for Thursday. Let's see. So he says he's hopeful. He says he's hopeful. Interesting. Let me see if I can actually play this clip here. Let me make sure my mic is still connected. Are we good? Yeah, we're still connected. All right, hold on. Let's see.
I was going to say that. I'm hopeful. That's just, as a coach, what you do is you ask. You might, how's he doing? That's about as much as you do. How are we doing and what do you think? And then you get the guys ready that are going to play. Then when the guys come back to practice, you put them in there and you practice them. That's how it works on the coaching side. Coaches aren't involved with, statuses and, whether guys play or not. That's not a coaching.
Interesting. So it basically sounds like, based off of what John Harbaugh said there about Lamar Jackson's injury status for Thursday Night Football, is that, hey, look, it's up to Lamar. It's up to Lamar. We're going to ask him how he feels. And if he says he feels like he's ready to go, we'll play him. If not, it's going to be another week of Tyler Huntley. Let me not get too ahead of myself and say that, hypothetically speaking, if Lamar Jackson doesn't play, would I be comfortable with Tyler Huntley starting against the Dolphins? Yes. Would I be happy? No. Right? Because then I would feel like we've been misled, like tragically misled as fans as to how severe this injury, this hamstring injury for Lamar Jackson really is. So, well, that's something that, of course, I will be on this channel right here monitoring literally all week. So make sure you like and subscribe as well, because it's going to be a huge story. It's going to be a huge story the next 4 days as the Ravens prepare for Thursday Night Football. Quick turnaround time. Will Lamar Jackson play? I think he will. Vibes are high, right? He has an extra 4 to 5 days of rest. He was already seen practicing in full, quote unquote, on Friday, albeit with the scout team. But I do expect for the Ravens to be buttoned up when it comes to his practice designations and things like that this week. And I believe he'll play Sunday, but we'll see. We'll see. John Harbaugh on the Ravens listing Lamar Jackson as a full participant on Friday. He says, and I quote, "There's no advantage to be gained with that." Exactly. So why do it? Let me see. He's hopeful that he'll play. Myles Garrett had 5 sacks today, guys. That's insane. 5 sacks in one game for Myles Garrett. Yeah, generational talent there at edge rusher. The best in the league, damn near the best to ever do it. Myles Garrett, ladies and gentlemen. Insane. All right, let me see what else. Did I cover everything? Harbaugh said this was a really important game for our team, and Thursday is a really big game for our team too, and our guys are keenly aware of that. Yeah, it was a joyous locker room. Harbaugh also says that's great. That's what you have to be happy that morale is on the up and up in this Ravens locker room, because and no, the Browns lost, by the way, Tanja Bowman. But yeah, you have to be excited about that. That is something to really, really kind of rally around. Not only, of course, as one of the Ravens players, but as fans. Like the fact that the players seem like they're back in it now, and of course we haven't seen it ourselves. But John Harbaugh saying, however you want to take John Harbaugh's word, I'm sure some of you guys take it with a grain of salt. But the vibes being back high in the locker room and a Lamar Jackson coming back, the tandem of those two things coming off of a win and getting your superstar MVP quarterback back on Thursday Night Football, things could be looking up. And again, let me just run through the schedule really quick for this Ravens team, just to let you guys know, in case you guys forgot, what is on the horizon here for these Ravens. So, of course, they win today against the Bears 30-16. They have the Dolphins on Thursday Night Football coming up this week. Then they get a 10-day break, and they will take on the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. That is a 1 p.m. game. And then after that, they have the Cleveland Browns for the second time this season, who are they're struggling. Apparently, according to Kevin Stefanski, they are sticking with Dylan Gabriel as quarterback. So, John Harbaugh versus not John Harbaugh, but the Ravens versus a rookie quarterback. I like the Ravens' odds. I like their chances there. And then after that, you have the Jets, who, again, they're the Jets, have 1 win on the season. We only have 2, but we're not going to talk about that. The Bengals, who they look frisky with Joe Flacco. But I think the combination of it being a divisional game and the Ravens kind of knowing Joe Flacco very well, they should be able to win that. Then you got Pittsburgh. It's going to be a very tough one. It's going to be a tough one. Pittsburgh might be reeling by that point because they have a pretty brutal schedule ahead. But these are all winnable games. Again, Pittsburgh, then you have the Bengals again, then you have the Patriots, then you have the Packers, then you have the Steelers to wrap the season. These are all very winnable games, guys. I want to remind everybody how possible it is for this Ravens team to go on a run. Do you guys remember 2019 when the Ravens, I believe, they left week 4 2-2 after losing to the Cleveland Browns in a game where Nick Chubb just went scorched earth on us? I was actually at that game at the bank that day. And after that, they didn't lose another game for the rest of the season. They ripped off 12 games straight. 12 wins straight. Listen, I'm here to tell you, there's a chance. There's a chance. The Ravens surprised us today. The Ravens were favored to win even after Lamar Jackson was announced that he wasn't going to play. As Ravens fans, we know what this team looks like without Lamar Jackson. But the Ravens were able to put up 30 today, right? And propel themselves into a Thursday night football game where they're going to be favored to win again, and probably by even more with Lamar Jackson expected to play. There's a chance with the rest of the schedule, if football gods willing, right? If this Ravens team can stay relatively healthy, they can put together a run. They can go on a run. Thea Pinto the Fourth says, "Are we back? We are back." I'm declaring it. We're going to root on the Packers tonight, though. We definitely are. But look, guys, I'm going to go ahead and leave it there for this episode of Quiet Storm Sports, as I'm almost an hour in. I just want to get on here and give you guys my instant reaction to the Ravens actually getting a W, getting out of the L column, getting back in the win column. You beat a team that was on a 4-game win streak after you're coming off a 4-game losing streak. Overall, a good day at the office for this Baltimore Ravens team. Again, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you please leave a like on the video. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel if you are new here, and hit that little notification bell so you can be notified whenever we go live. We're going live pretty much every day, right? We're going to be live tomorrow. We're going to be live the day after that, the day after that, the day after that, covering this Ravens team and really holding our breath to see if Lamar Jackson will play on Thursday. Again, appreciate all of you guys for coming through. Again, like the video. If you're on X right now and you're watching, leave me a follow before you get out of here. And with that being said, stay positive. Always test negative. And never, ever, ever forget, even on the rainiest of days, to call God. My name is Sudden Death from PRP. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.